Welcome to the Explainer. If you're an employer in Washington state, a whole bunch of major labor laws have already changed for 2026. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to cut through the complexity and turn all these updates into a simple, actionable checklist for your employee handbook.
Let's just dive right in. The big question on your screen, is your handbook already out of date? And honestly, the answer is almost certainly, yep. Several really big changes went into effect on January 1st, so it's absolutely crucial to get your policies aligned, like right now.
Okay, here's how we're going to break it all down for you. We'll go through this in 5 parts. We're starting with the immediate stuff, pay and classification. Then we'll hit leave and accommodations, policies and agreements, look at what's coming next, and wrap it all up with your final action plan.
All right. Let's kick things off with part 1. These first 3 updates are a pretty big deal. We're talking about the things that pose the most immediate risks in your handbook, wages, and how you classify your employees, and these are already in effect.
Okay, first up, the number you absolutely have to know. $17.13 an hour. That is the new Washington statewide minimum wage. And yes, it's already the law.
Now, it's not just about plugging in a new number. The real fix for your handbook is twofold. First, you've got to update your pay practices language. Second, and this is so important, add a little note that says something like, hey, local minimum wages, like in Seattle, might be higher.
And here is a trap that a lot of people fall into. Whatever you do, don't just replace the state number with a local one in your handbook. Use the exact state number, that's $17.13, and then add a general reminder about local rates. This keeps things clean and really reduces your risk of a wage claim.
All right, on to patch number 2. This one is all about your salaried exempt employees. The new magic number you need to burn into your brain is $1,541.70 per week.
So if you're looking at that number and it's making you a little nervous, that's your cue. It's time to run an exempt classification audit, like yesterday. In your handbook, you need to scrub any language that even hints that getting a salary automatically makes you exempt. It just doesn't work that way. And you'll also want to be crystal clear about timekeeping for anyone who might get moved over to non-exempt status.
And please, remember this. It's the duties, the actual work someone does that determines if they're exempt. It's not their fancy job title or the fact that they get a regular salary. Getting this one wrong is a huge area of risk.
Okay, our third patch. And listen up, because this one is a biggie. We're talking about a major enforcement risk that often boils down to a single dangerous sentence in your handbook, all about unapproved overtime. This is where we really have to separate 2 different things, right? On one hand, you have a disciplinary issue. On the other, a payroll obligation. You have to pay your non-exempt employees for every single hour they work, period. If they didn't get that overtime approved first, well, that's a performance conversation for their manager. But you can't, under any circumstances, withhold their pay for time they actually worked.
There it is, that exact sentence. Unapproved overtime will not be paid. If that phrase or anything that even sounds like it is hiding anywhere in your handbook, your manager guides, or your policies, you need to find it and delete it. Immediately. It's basically an open invitation for a wage and hour lawsuit. Okay, let's keep the momentum going. Part 2 is all about leave and accommodations, and we've got 2 really important updates that expand protected leave for employees.
So first up, job protection under Washington's Paid Family and Medical Leave, or PFML, has been expanded. Here's the deal. For most employers with 25 or more employees, if someone has been on your team for just 180 calendar days, that's days, not hours worked, they are now eligible for job protection. This means you need a separate, distinct section in your handbook just for PFML reinstatement rights. You can't just rely on your old FMLA language.
And here's another common mistake to avoid. Don't think of PFML as just some paperwork the state handles for you. It's not just about the employee getting paid while they're out. You, as the employer, have a real legal obligation to bring them back to their job. This has to be crystal clear in your handbook and in your process.
All right, the next patch adds a whole new category of protected leave. Washington now requires you to provide leave and safety accommodations for employees dealing with situations that come from hate crimes or bias incidents. You'll need to update your policies to include this. A good place to put it is right alongside your existing domestic violence or stalking leave policy. And just as important, make sure you have a confidential intake process ready to go.
Okay, now for part 3, and this is a big one, especially if your company uses template offer letters, has rules about outside jobs, or uses any kind of non-compete agreements. First things first, non-competes. For 2026, the state has gotten super specific about the earnings thresholds for these agreements to be legally enforceable. Take a good look at these numbers. Your job is to go pull your templates right now and check them. If your agreements don't meet these thresholds, they're probably not worth the paper they're written on.
Second, let's talk about moonlighting, or your outside employment policy. This needs a significant update. Here's the rule of thumb. For employees earning less than double the state minimum wage, that's $34.26 an hour, you can no longer have a blanket ban on them having a second job. Your policy has to be much more narrowly tailored, focusing only on actual conflicts of interest or legitimate safety issues.
Whew. Okay, so we've covered all the changes that are already in effect. Now let's switch gears and look a little bit into the future at a major item that's coming up this summer.
The WA Cares Fund, the state's long-term care program, is about to go live. Starting in July, people can actually start accessing those benefits. So what's your job right now? It's not to be an expert on the fund. It's to get your internal teams ready. Prepare a simple FAQ and one approved script for your HR and payroll folks so they can answer employee questions consistently and point them to the official sources.
We've covered a ton of ground, so now it's time to put it all together into one final master to-do list for your team. And here it is, your entire to-do list on one slide. This is the perfect moment to pause, take a screenshot, and start assigning these action items to the right people on your team. Every single one of these steps directly reduces your compliance risk.
And that is your guide to the 2026 Washington Handbook updates. You've got the checklist. The only question left is, which of these action items are you going to tackle first to reduce the most risk for your organization tomorrow? Thanks for watching.